In just 9 minutes, uncover 10 brutal takeaways from Jon Stewart's explosive talk with CNN's Kaitlan Collins on the press trick that breaks any politician, how journalists stay sane under Trump, and the truths they never say on camera. Takeaway 1, following up is a weapon. Jon Stewart shared a vivid analogy involving comedian John Mulaney fighting 3 teenage boys live on stage. At first, the fight was total chaos, with Mulaney overpowering the kids one by one. But suddenly, something clicked. The teens realized that if they worked together and attacked in sync, they could bring him down. Stewart used this moment to question why the White House press corps doesn't adopt the same tactic when trying to break through scripted, evasive political answers. Kaitlan Collins agreed that there is power in unity, but said the reality is more complicated. Reporters represent different outlets with different priorities, and they're not technically on the same team. But despite the competition, she revealed a simple, brutally effective strategy: follow-up questions. If one journalist asks something important and doesn't get a straight answer, the next one should hit it again. Sharper, clearer, and harder to dodge. This repetition puts pressure on the official being questioned. It creates a corner they can't easily wiggle out of, especially when multiple reporters are forcing the issue in front of a live audience. Collins recalled moments during press briefings where a single question was asked 4 or 5 times by different reporters. The power of that persistence forced the administration to acknowledge things they wanted to bury. For example, when the White House denied that a leaked group chat revealed classified content, reporter after reporter challenged them. The coordinated pressure cracked the polished facade, and that's the press trick that can break any politician, no matter how prepared they are. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2, how reporters stay sane under Trump. Kaitlan Collins explained that covering Trump is like stepping into a storm without an umbrella. His unpredictability forces reporters to always stay alert and agile. Jon Stewart compared her experience to being in a crucible, and Collins agreed that during Trump's presidency, there was no room for error. You had to be sharp because anything could happen, from bizarre medical claims to wild accusations. She recalled being at a COVID briefing expecting questions about ventilators, only to be blindsided by Trump suggesting sunlight as a treatment. In such chaos, she said you learn to stay on your feet and adapt immediately. For example, she mentioned that at Trump events, she was often called on last and had to be mentally ready to ask questions he wouldn't expect and couldn't easily dodge. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3, learning to resist manipulation. Jon Stewart said, dealing with Trump's team often feels like psychological warfare. According to him, their tactic is to throw reporters off balance emotionally so they stop doing their job. Kaitlan Collins agreed, but emphasized that she never takes the bait. She said it's important to remember your job is not to win an argument or get caught up in the emotion, but to ask the damn question. When Trump kicked her out of an event for a tough question, she didn't crumble. She kept doing her job the next day. For example, even after being excluded from some White House events, she kept showing up, asking about the wrongly deported man whose return the administration was blocking. She stayed focused, even when Trump mocked her with comments like, "Why couldn't you just say thank you?" Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4, reporters must litigate reality. Stewart praised Collins for something he called litigating reality. That means not just asking a question, but holding powerful people accountable for their answers. Kaitlan said sometimes the answer is less important than making someone say it on the record. Once they say it, you can break it down later, expose contradictions, and show your audience the full picture. She stressed that even a non-answer reveals a lot. For example, when a Republican congresswoman said she didn't know a bill she voted for would prevent AI regulation, that moment said more than any press release could. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5, Biden team plays it safe. Jon Stewart compared the Biden White House to a robot spitting out memorized lines, saying it felt like talking to artificial intelligence. Kaitlan Collins agreed, saying press secretary answers are often full of scripted talking points that avoid the real question. She gave an example where she asked about the deficit impact of a spending bill, citing the CBO. The response? A vague rant about how the CBO is often wrong without addressing her point. Collins said her job is to ask questions that can't be dodged with canned lines. When that fails, she follows up again and again until listeners see through the dodge. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. Off-camera talks reveal real truths. Stewart asked Collins if she gets more honest answers when the cameras are off. She said absolutely. Politicians are far more candid in private. The problem is, they often say one thing off the record and another on camera. She tries to use that knowledge to ask sharper, more targeted questions during interviews. Collins said she prefers guests who say the same things publicly that they say behind the scenes. For example, after a White House meeting on immigration, she noted how officials privately laughed at the show they had just put on, admitting they were stretching the truth but planning to drag it out in court. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7. Collins' career is built on grit. Kaitlan Collins has been covering Washington for years and has developed an ability to operate under intense pressure without losing focus. She compared her mindset to that of an athlete. She doesn't let a bad moment shake her. Instead, she reflects on it, learns from it, and gets ready for the next one. She keeps a running list of people she wants to interview, even if they haven't returned her calls yet. For example, she had long been chasing an interview with former Attorney General Bill Barr. She didn't wait for a yes to prepare. She built her questions in advance and was ready the moment the opportunity came. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8. The game is rigged with spin. Jon Stewart was blunt in saying modern politics is like a game of Clue, full of misleading signals and hidden agendas. Kaitlan Collins didn't deny it. She explained that today's media environment, where everything is filmed and instantly tweeted, makes politicians even more obsessed with controlling the message. That's why press access is so choreographed. Still, she believes it's possible to break through that fog by sticking to the facts and staying persistent. For example, she recalled how some members of Congress voted for an 1,100-page bill without reading it, then expressed outrage when they discovered hidden clauses days later. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9. The media bends to Trump's gravity. Jon Stewart said many politicians, even ones who used to hate Trump, now praise him as if they're under a spell. Kaitlan Collins said this is part of Trump's unique power. His political gravity pulls everyone in, whether they want to admit it or not. She noted how figures like J.D. Vance completely transformed their stance once they joined Trump's orbit. For example, Collins said some of these same people who once called Trump dangerous now support every one of his policies. That flip-flop happens because Trump rewards loyalty and punishes defiance, and the media plays a role in covering that transformation. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10. Journalists need backbone and access. Kaitlan Collins believes no president should be shielded from tough questions. She said even though President Biden usually answered when asked directly, access was still tightly controlled. She recounted a time when she questioned Biden about the Department of Justice tracking reporters' phone records, a policy from Trump's era. Biden said he would stop it. That spontaneous answer forced his team to change the policy, so fast that a staffer had to pull over on the highway to deal with the fallout. Collins said these moments show why direct access matters. Real change can come from a well-timed, simple question, but only if the press has the guts and the access to ask it. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.